Holy shit!
Yes.
Look at us.
Hey.
Here we are. Metal Rockin' Whiskey live in the flesh, you guys. We're missing one of our brothers. He will hopefully make it a little bit later. That's Matt, the whiskey obsessor. I'm Sailor, as you know.
Yes.
I have to remember, you guys, that people are going to be listening to this later without seeing us. So I have to be mindful of that. So for the listeners, we did this live on video.
Yes.
We have special guests with us. Of course, Ed, our lovely editor and producer, is in the studio, and he is sitting in a murder chamber. I think he's either gets strung up by the chain behind him, or he strings people up with the chain behind him.
No, that's my very cool swag lamp.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh,
there you go.
Okay.
That is swagalicious.
So he has a swag lamp in the murder chamber. All right. And then we have two very, 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 very special guests. So I've got my brothers from another mother on one side and my brothers from another father on the other side. I've got Mac and Jay from Uncle Nearest with us tonight. What's up, fellas?
What's going on, Sailor?
Ow! What's happening, Sailor? What's going down?
Jay is ready.
It's been a long day, player.
Oh, brother.
You got your hair all combed out, Jay?
Yeah, he does.
Hey, hold up now. Let me show you. I got the pic right here. Hold up.
You got the fist on the back of it, though, Jay?
Man, best believe.
Come on, baby.
Oh my
Come
God.
on now.
So he's showing us. So describe to the listeners what you are showing us right now.
Show him, Jay. Tell him, Jay.
So y'all don't know. So I'm a 70s baby actually.
Come on.
And so back in the 70s when everybody had the fros, you had a pick in your fro, but of course they had the there we go. We had the pick with the Black Power fist on it. You know what I'm saying? Black Pride, Black Power.
Love it.
Nowadays it's right back at you. You know what I'm saying? Black Lives Matter.
You know,
let's get it.
If your pick does not have that on the back of it, it's not officially a pick. You have a comb.
Your pick's up.
Gotcha. Gotcha. See, now my mom and I had picks in the 70s.
That just reminds me of the scene in Spaceballs. Remember when they're combing the desert?
Oh yeah,
Spaceballs, yes.
Spaceballs.
Dude, that was freaking. Who was that? Mel
Brooks.
Mel Brooks.
Best
Dude,
thing
that was
ever.
one of the funniest scenes. They said, and then they was like, "Hey, have you found anything?" And the brothers was like, "We ain't found shit." That was hilarious, man. Dude, that was a classic movie right there.
When we had the non-correct picks in the 70s, my mom got a perm because her hair is straight as a board. And she would, pick her perm. Me, I didn't need a perm. The pick got caught in my hair and she didn't know how to get it out. So she cut it out.
So Sailor,
just back it out slowly.
You get a perm to make your hair curly? Is that what they were doing?
My mother did. Yes, are you kidding me?
My mom had one of those too.
Yeah.
Really opposite.
So
funny how it's opposite.
I guess it's opposite for black and white folks.
Right,
yeah. A perm, you straighten your hair out for black folks.
It does. You're right.
And I guess for white folks, you get a perm.
How major is that, right? Exactly.
It's ridiculous. Wow. It's called because it was called permanent waves. And what you're actually doing when you straighten curly hair, you are using the permanent wave solution, but you're not applying curlers to it. So you straighten it, you use the solution. So they're both correct.
Shut up.
I used to be a hairdresser.
Great point.
Oh,
now I just play one on TV.
Okay.
Oh,
that is where it comes
Sailor
from.
used to be a hairdresser. I didn't know that, Sailor.
I think your wife knew that.
Many lives.
So many lives. Yeah, that's crazy. Wow.
One of the few times I left the whiskey industry, and let me tell you, I came running right back.
Wow.
Right back.
Yeah. So we usually stick to a script here, and we've totally fucked that up tonight. Ed, let's try to get back on track, shall we? I guess we've done our intro segment and hellos and small talk. I'm supposed to talk about the new method of operation. That's a whiskey joke. Ha ha ha. If you know distilling. I introduced the guests. Oh shit. It's up to you now, Ed.
Up to
You're
me.
Next.
No pressure here.
No pressure.
The swagalicious lamp. There you go. Let me pull up my email so I know what the heck is the course of action. By the way, I have to say real fast,
the method of operation
that we can use beautiful language in this podcast.
Ooh.
Yes. So we don't have to do earmuffs here, even though the kids are upstairs, quiet, tucked away. But we can release the hounds on here. That's awesome.
Wow.
Oh yeah, we can say all the potty words because we're not allowed to when we're when we're on our Uncle Nearest podcast. We have to have rightly so. We have to have a clean mouth. We can't say like lant liquor or anything like that. We have to be well behaved.
Although that's funny though.
Yeah.
But now you're in my space, motherfuckers.
Whoa.
You can say whatever you want.
Good God.
There you
All
go.
righty. Well, tonight we are going to be discussing a few topics that have been on probably a lot of people's minds lately. I know they've definitely been on my mind. So what I'm talking about is diversity, inclusion, and politics. But don't worry, this is not going to be a general overarching discussion about those weighty topics. That would be for a different podcast. Definitely not ours. So tonight, instead, we're going to be focusing our attention on how they relate into the genres of hard rock and metal music.
Nice.
A little bit about diversity or lack thereof, as the case may be.
It's going to be an interesting discussion, I got to tell you.
Yes,
because
it will.
a couple cool things happened when I was researching. Then when I spoke to some of you guys about it, like Mac, we had a phone call and you were like, well, I don't know anything about, metal and rock and blah, blah, blah. And within 2 seconds, you realized you do know a little bit because we started talking about Rage Against the Machine and it was like, boom, see? That was cool. The stuff that I learned was really cool. And the research, and we'll talk about this, opened me up to this phenomenal book. And then I just did like a little bit of research on like, what are the 50 greatest protest songs like in the rock genre? Just kind of like an overarching thing that I found on the internet. Like, what would that be considered? And it was interesting because Metallica, Bruce Hornsby, and NWA are all on the same list.
Wow. Go figure.
I love it.
But how cool is that, right?
No, it's true. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. That's America at its best, right?
There you go.
You ain't lying.
The melting pot. So before we get into that discussion, we have to talk about something very serious, guys, right now. Very serious.
Very serious.
I'm doing a pause to insert music for the podcast. Trying to help out Ed. We have to talk about whiskey. What are we drinking? What's everybody drinking tonight? Who wants to start?
Hey, I could be really, really right on point because I'm always going for the one whiskey that's always in reach right now, which is the beautiful, the fine, the Uncle Nearest 1856. I'm always drinking it neat. That's me. I don't like a lot of anything else with it. When I do it the typical way, my dad did it. It kind of reminds me of that line from what's Iron Man. This is how Dad did it. And so that's basically kind of how I do it. But we drink straight whiskey when we drink. And so I drink Uncle Nearest 1856 straight tonight.
Well, I love that whiskey as well. No disparaging comments there. Ed, what about you? What are you, since we lost Jay for a minute, I don't know where the hell he went.
At the risk of sounding like a broken record, I also have a bottle of Uncle Nearest 1856.
I tell you, man, I can already tell you got great taste, brother.
So, yeah, I do generally like it neat. And on suggestion of Sailor a while ago, I started adding a couple of drops of water to some of the whiskeys to bring out a few more of the floral notes.
Okay.
And I'm telling you what, this is one of those whiskeys. I know we've talked about it before, where when I first opened it up, I'll just say it, I wasn't wowed, but it was okay. It was all right.
Yeah.
Next time I came back. Oh man. It's like I'm starting to get a little more. Up for me. And next time I came back, oh man, this is good stuff. It's one of those that just keeps getting better and better the more I go back to it. And so as you can see by the level of my bottle, it's
really
pretty darn good right now.
Oh, man.
Looks like I came right back in the right time. Perfect.
Yeah, you did.
You had to go get your bottle of whiskey, right? That's where you went.
Something, man. Wi-Fi bastards. Something's going on.
I got a question. Real quick, Ed. When you first opened that bottle, though, the nose on it didn't just. I mean, because I know you said at first it was kind of like okay, or not so great for you. But how was the nose on it when you first had it? I'm just curious because that's one of the most beautiful parts about the drink to me.
Oh, the nose on it.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Which when I always, no matter how I do it, it's just I have to sit here and just smell this thing for a while.
Oh yeah. The nose was great.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right off the bat. The nose was fantastic, but I think at that point, for me, on the first open, the taste didn't quite live up to the billing of the nose, which happens a lot.
Yeah.
For me.
Okay.
To me, the nose, I can usually pick up a lot of really nice notes on the nose, but I think, I don't know, maybe it has something to do with the alcohol or a little bit like the acetone or something like that. If it kind of tones down over time when it's been open or something like that. But this is a bottle that definitely gets better the longer it's been open. So if anyone picks up a bottle of this, I would suggest opening it up, pour a little out, let it sit for a day or so, and maybe come back to it. If at first you don't, it doesn't grab you, try that.
I also highly suggest drinking it out of a wider mouth glass too.
Yes,
since it's 100 proof.
Yeah,
that's
big ass mouth glass. Heard.
Shout out to Myron, my guy's in the building.
Although we do have a backup bottle over here, just kind of a little shout out to Jack Daniels here,
the other man.
The other man in the story, a little single barrel proof for when I feel like I need to get a little hotter.
That's the first Jack Daniels expression that I've enjoyed. Was that finally I found
this one?
There's something
now. This barrel is 132.2.
Oh, yeah, mine
we're getting up into hazmat territory here.
Yeah, boy,
mine's 128.2. Yeah, it's not that bad. Jeez. I have to add water to it so I can get to that
ice on that.
I'm definitely put a cube on that. So
ice can sometimes dull the flavor, so I'd prefer to add just a little bit of water and bring it down closer to a 110. And that's right usually for a higher proof where my palate starts to pick up everything I'm looking for, because otherwise I just get so overwhelmed by the ethanol and the bite and the heat, and I can't find those flavors right away. So that's kind of my go-to with that. But there's something about, I have the same problem with makers. There's something in there that does not work for me. It's a flavor that's very odious and kind of gets me in the sides of my palate. It's just really weird. It does something to me on a sensory level. But so everybody, I would say, I don't like it. And people would think, because it's cheap. I'm like, no, I drink all kinds of cheap shit. I love Evan Williams. Evan Williams is fucking amazing.
I do.
Evan Williams Black. Dude, no problem with that. But finally, the single barrel just gave me that flavor that I was hearing people would like, that banana. I was like, where's the banana in this? I don't get it. And it was the first thing I tasted in that single barrel was just pow, banana. And even the Gentleman Jack is like, but this, so good.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Uncle Near's 1856. I mean, when I sip it, it makes my mouth water. I mean, I'm serious. It really just automatically just gets you nice and gushy and juicy. And you can't. I mean, you know what I'm saying. I mean, you can't help but to have it's an experience, people. So if you have not had it, you want to have an experience in your mouth. Go for it.
I'm just waiting to experience some of that 1820.
It'll happen.
Now you're getting deep. You're getting deep.
It'll happen.
And
what is he drinking?
Just to make you a little, just a little jealous. Just
showing all of us.
Don't make me pull
it just
out
had
my
to be
bottle,
there
because my bottle's got a bigger proof.
That's a way bigger proof.
Bottle.
She's holding it down with the big bottle action. Mine is a measly 110. A measly 110. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
That's a nice sweet spot, though. I like that around that 110 or so.
What barrel is that?
Spot.
Yeah. What barrel is that?
This is actually U.S. barrel 10. And so I think I grabbed. Where the heck did I grab that one? That may have been up at the distillery. I think I may have got that at the distillery.
I love it, baby.
Can't remember. But yeah. That's it, man. That's that 1820. You pop that top, baby. You're celebrating something, daggum. You better believe it. For real.
Well, you guys, I'm not drinking Uncle Nearest, and I'm not drinking Jack Daniels because I am drinking something that's a little more apropos for tonight's show.
Fireball!
On this show, you know what we say to that? Fuck you, Jay.
Whoa!
I like it. Yeah.
Go for it. There you go. A blackened American whiskey.
Oh, black
Metallica and the late great Dave Pickerel. Pour one out for Dave. One of the sweetest, most passionate people. Just excited about everything and wanted to help everybody. He's just amazing. So this bottle, this is our wedding bottle. We cracked it on our wedding day, and we have a picture of doing a toast. And the Justice of the Peace who married us says he wasn't a drinker. And so the only people that were at our little tiny ceremony was our photographer and his wife, so they could be our witnesses. And I met them because they were whiskey drinkers. So they would come to a lot of my whiskey tastings and events. So I said, we're going to do a nice little taste together. That's what we'll do right after we say I do. And so the Justice of the Peace comes over, pour me a glass too.
So excellent.
I love that.
And nice. So this is batch 90. And the cool thing about this is you get to look up what the playlist was. See this here? So they play music to the barrels.
Wait. Explain it again. There's a playlist on it?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So Copper and Kings, I think as the first one we know of that did this, that they use sonic vibrations to age their barrels. Now, there's definitely something scientific to it. And apparently the way that the guys got together with Dave Pickerel and sound engineers and other scientists and figured out a proprietary way to do it. And I don't know if they've talked about the ins and outs of it yet, but they have their own way to do it. But there is something to having the sound waves. You know, it's just like in Jurassic Park when they're staring at the puddle and they see the puddle start to shake before they even hear the footsteps from the T-Rex, boom, boom. So same thing, whiskey in the barrel, you're going to make it move and it's going to age quicker, right?
Oh, makes perfect sense.
Similar concept to the Jefferson's Ocean. Put the barrels on ships,
on the water, and it's never still. It's always moving, right?
Right.
You get outside interference with that too, with the beautiful ocean and the brine. But the cool thing is that each one of the guys would say, "All right, I'm going to select and arrange the playlist for this barrel or this batch, whatever." So this one is James Hetfield. Of course, I didn't get Lars. Just by chance. That's a whole other inside joke here on Metal Rock. I don't know about that one. Lord. This is batch 90. So James chose Damage Inc., Hero of the Day, The Four Horsemen, The Thing That Should Not Be, Motor Breath, Carpe Diem Baby, Lords of Summer, and Dream No More. It's not my
songs in there.
Dream playlist for Metallica, but that's okay.
A lot of old school, which is
I gotta look up what
Metallica up your alley.
I like.
I've seen a lot. I know Metallica because I've seen 1,000 T-shirts on people. That's how I know Metallica.
Yeah,
I don't know if you play a song, I would have no idea who that is. But yeah, I mean, they do some great T-shirts.
You'd hear if there'd be songs you'd hear and you'd go, I know exactly.
Oh yeah, I think so as well. I just gotta think which one, but yeah.
They just released a box set. So remember back in the old days when you get a box set of CD or record? Hell yeah!
Oh my God, I loved them. The artwork. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna open it, but we'll open it on the next one when Matt's here, so that I can show you guys what's in it. But there's vinyl in it, and that's your playlist. So you get to listen to your playlist while you're drinking the bottle. It comes in a beautiful, huge box. There's a pick. There's stickers. There's a booklet, remember when you would pull out the liner notes and
a guitar pick, Jay, not a hair pick.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. That's what I was thinking for a second. I was like, no, let's probably talk about guitar. Right on, for sure.
Although that's a really good idea.
Yeah. Thanks for the clarification, sir.
So this batch 90 is the last thing that Dave actually did. So this is real special to us. So we don't drink it. Tonight is the first time Robin and I took a sip of it since the wedding. We will do a sip each year and do an affinity bottle. And so we'll crack the next one from the box set on Monday, which is our anniversary. Nice. So
anniversary.
Awesome.
That's
how many years will that be, by the way, Sailor?
Uno.
Oh, that's it?
Go.
The big one.
That's a good one.
Oh, Snapples. Okay.
That's the most important one right there. Hey, Sailor, real quick. When did Metallica, they just came out with their brand of whiskey, though, right?
Oh gosh, it's
they're pretty new, right?
What is it? 3? Oh, maybe are they the same age as us? I think 3 years.
Yeah, I knew they were kind of young with it. Yeah,
yeah, something like that. I think this is their 3rd year.
Yeah, I think they're probably about the same age as us. As
nice.
Uncle Nero.
I remember. Well, it can't be that old. Remember talking about it on our podcast about how they were going to come out with a whiskey. Remember that?
Yeah. So
we talked about before it even happened.
It's 3. It's got to be 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing is, I know they're not the most awarded whiskey.
No, they're not.
Right now, so.
Touche, sir.
No.
Touche.
No, that belongs to another
distinction.
Company. It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember exactly.
Cannot.
Yeah, it could be.
What could that
think
be?
on it. Think on it for a while.
Oh man.
Well, all right.
Right on.
So we've talked about what we're drinking.
Dun, dun,
I'm gonna change over to some red breast now because I'm obsessed.
Ooh,
I don't know
red boobies.
The red breast 12
you
is
never go wrong with red boobies.
My man said red boobies.
Sorry,
I love it.
Sorry,
you can talk about that stuff now.
Yeah, you can.
I know you guys have been holding back forever.
Hello,
let it loose.
What?
Let it
Max, we could get in trouble on Whiskey Dads. That's for darn sure. Now we're just here, cut loose.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, we could curse. You know what I'm saying? No earmuffs.
Yeah,
cock, suck, balls. You know what I'm saying? All the crazy stuff.
You got to like a compound one right there.
I remember that. You remember that movie, Old School? Dude, that was great.
Oh my god.
I love that movie.
I think he may have just cursed more than me altogether. Maybe, I don't know. One of our listeners started to tally how many times I said "fuck" on the show since we started, and he got to like 800 and something, and it was our first year.
You counted them?
Wow,
yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, that guy needs to get we need to send him a bottle.
Yeah. We have to.
He deserves something for that effort.
We'll have to send him. We have our very own Glencairn glasses, you guys.
And I happen to be drinking out of one.
Oh, now
right
there you
now.
Go. There you go.
Oh, and it's not a baby Glencairn either. That's a grown man Glencairn glass.
That's a grown woman Glencairn glass.
There you go.
This is my
name.
You know.
Hello.
Booyah.
Hello.
I like how you roll.
Thank you. Yeah. All right, enough with this fuckery. Let's get on to the discussion, shall we?
Drop it like it's hot, baby. Yes.
Ed, this is going to be a nightmare to put on the podcast. No, not really. It will be. All right. So we're going to talk about diversity, the lack thereof, in hard rock and metal.
Yeah.
And I want to just give us kind of a foundation for the discussion. So I've prepared some notes here, did a little bit of research. So I'm going to kind of hit on some subjects, and then we're going to kind of investigate. I want to hear from you guys. You're both Black men.
Yes,
and we're all similar in age as well.
Yeah, Jay, I just,
Are you?
I think you're right.
Better watch out.
Damn it. All right.
Check your pants to make sure, Jay.
Double check.
Game on.
I was waiting for that.
You a brother, ain't you?
Jokes.
Where's my wife? I'm sorry. Never mind.
Yeah, I believe she knows.
Oh Lord.
Truly.
My God.
There we go. All right. Sorry about that. Go ahead. Please continue, Sailor.
Oh, thanks. Okay, I will. So there is an all African American heavy metal band that formed in 1977. Wow. Did anybody know about this?
Wait, yes. I think I just did a little bit. I didn't know about it before, but I know about some bad brain, bad something.
No, that's enough. We'll get to them. This is before them.
Wait.
Well, they started the same year, but yeah.
They were in DC, right? Weren't they out of DC?
So,
they couldn't have been.
Mad Bones.
No, they're called Black Death. And
yeah.
They're not punk or rock. They're straight up metal, heavy metal.
What state were they?
Chicago.
Created? Oh, I'm actually surprised.
Chicago in the house.
Wow.
So they were active from 1977 to 1984, and then they reformed again in 2009, and they're still together and playing aside from COVID. So I had never heard of them, and I was a metalhead from the very early 80s. Then you have Bad Brains from DC.
Bad Brains.
Everybody has Bad Brains, though, right?
Yeah, from DC.
I guess. Yeah. See, Matt, check you out.
I'll be daggone. When did they come out?
1977. They are considered the pioneers of hardcore punk, and they don't. They're very interesting, eclectic fellows. Because if you listen to their music, you listen to one fucking album, and you're just like, "Who? It does someone's schizophrenic here?" It's all over the place.
They got like everything from reggae to some jazz fusion to everything.
But it was definitely hardcore punk at the time. Yeah, Bad Brains. They were they got super famous for a while. They got MTV play in the 80s, and I mean, any kid who's a punk rocker that grew up in the 70s and 80s will say, oh yeah, Bad Brains was kind of their foundation.
Look, shout out to my homeboy Ryan Wilson on here, Ride Dog. He pointed out In Living Color. That's the one that I thought.
Living Color, yeah.
Are they considered a rock?
It's Living Color.
Yep.
So Living Color, I would consider rock, not hard rock. And so that's
I'm sorry.
So that's something that we have gone through at painstaking lengths when we started the podcast, because it's, first of all, genres are fucking made up, right?
Sure. Right.
But how do we encompass what we talk? So, we mostly talk about metal from a certain era because that's when we grew up. Like, I don't really know anything that has to do with new metal bands now, and I don't give a shit because I don't like the way it sounds. That's just what it is. It's my opinion. I want metal to continue forever. That's great. I support the genre, but it's not my jam. So we kind of made the division between hard rock and metal. But when you're talking about the 70s and 80s, and Matt, who is not with us right now, is about, 10 years younger than us?
Yeah, he's a millennial.
He would get very mad when we would refer to bands like Def Leppard as heavy metal. He would get like irate, and we're like, wait a minute, you have to understand that back in the 80s, that was called heavy metal because it was just a big basket that everyone lived in if you had electric guitars, right?
Yeah.
In Living Color, I would say they're just rock, kind of like Rolling Stone is rock. You know what I mean? Bon Jovi's
I heard some of the stuff they got down there, but yeah, I guess so. What about Fishbone?
So Fishbone. I mean,
I know Living Color and I know Fishbone. Those were I knew
Fishbone
before.
You grew up in Cincinnati.
I did any of this research.
Well, you grew up near all the hippies at UC.
A little something. Clifton, how you know? You know about it. Check it out.
Yeah. So I mean, Fishbone would be. They were more like hippie rock. Again. Okay. I would just call them rock,
You need to break it down for me in Macadocious, because I don't have no idea how to distinguish between heavy metal, or hard rock and punk. It's all rock music to me.
We're still trying to figure it out ourselves, Jay. So don't.
Really? Okay.
We're still again, like, this is all made up. These are all categories that are just made up. It's not like in whiskey where rye is rye because it's fucking got mostly rye in it.
Yeah, you can prove that. Yeah.
It's not like that. This is kind of, and then the genres changed over the years, and now there's oh my god, in metal there's black metal, there's death metal, there's, help me out, Ed. I don't know.
Is black metal like black people, or is it something else?
You'd think.
You've got
quite the
opposite of metal. You've got
the whitest people on earth do black metal.
Wow. All right. Okay. All right.
Well, I saw that Metallica's whiskey is called Blackened, so I thought that was. I didn't know.
Well, that was one of their songs.
So okay.
Oh, okay. There we go.
It's named after one of their not best songs.
Which is kind of interesting. So, what is that song about? I gotta ask now.
what everything was about for a long time. James would write about insanity, losing your mind, due to the constraints of society. He was big on the Civil War and World War I. He was definitely a war historian for sure. He was quite a poet, actually. Social injustice. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could encompass it all with social injustice and war.
That's interesting.
The most obvious one being injustice for all.
Correct. Yeah.
But that's interesting that, like you said there's a genre called black metal, right?
Yes.
And black metal is it? How do you state what black metal is? I'm just curious. Now we're in this.
So, black metal is an offshoot of death metal.
Okay.
And death metal are the guys that sound like this. You can't understand a fucking word they're saying.
Oh my god!
Oh, that
like a stomach, like a real bad stomach.
I just thought that was Satan.
Yeah, who knows? He might say, "Look, I want to record."
He's just their inspiration.
Gotcha. Okay, all right.
Black metal is supposed to be against the church, but meaning the construct of organized religion.
So is it like black magic?
No,
kind of.
No, no. It's. I'm pretty sure they're all complete atheists.
Like the absence of light, kind of a.
Yeah, the absence of light. Exactly.
Right.
Wow. But not that they're it's such a difficult, because each one of them, I'm sure, has their own interpretation. So this is just our interpretation. It's not that they're celebrating death. It really is. It's really rebelling against the constraints of organized religion and the toll that organized religion has had on society worldwide since the beginning of time.
Sure.
Spanish Crusades, and I mean today.
The way they did black people in slavery. You pretty much were forced
you can be
to
a Moor. Correct. Correct.
You're not gonna be a
Moors were evil. Yeah. Muslim. You
ain't lying.
Yeah.
Forced to be Christian. Yeah.
Right.
Man took religion and just totally screwed it up.
Right. So that's what. Yeah, they're not rebelling or speaking out against personal spiritualism. It's the organized religion. It's the church as the corrupt entity.
Sure. Got it.
Gotcha.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's interesting though. I mean, we're talking about blacks in heavy metal, those groups, and so if you have a genre that depicts even the word black to be this very heavy, deep, kind of sounding kind of aggressive. I don't know.
Yeah,
very bad.
Yeah, I think that naturally would turn a lot of what I would think black Americans away. I mean, and so it's kind of like
That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, only because I think when it comes to music, especially like when I think about black American music, the way that most blacks, our music is, we talk about R&B, you talk about hip hop, you talk about soul. This is music that's more like
uplifting.
Not only uplifting, but it evokes the soul to move. So soul is a part of the music, whether it be sexual soul, whether it be uplifting, motivating soul, or cool soul, whatever. But it's always got this place of an energy, an inner power. And if you have things like metal, and I'm not saying all metal, of course, but we're talking specifically about black metal right now, but how that is the absence of that. And I think for blacks, that's one reason why it's very hard to be in that place. Because I mean, think about it. As a black American, how much trauma generations.
You're exactly
you ain't
right.
lying. So, I don't need to hear nothing else.
I would say that so something like, let's talk about black metal in specific. That is music that comes from privilege, from having a privileged point of view to see the larger picture and be able to speak about the larger picture because they're so privileged as being white men in a very Anglo-Saxon or very Scandinavian, because it was born from Scandinavia, but music that if you want to say black music, when that encompasses so many different genres, came from struggle, it came from strife, and also the desperate need to preserve your culture and pass your culture down in so many different ways, just like food, right? Because your culture was stripped from the slaves. So I think that's the counterpoint. But the metal we talk about on this show, the metal that Ed and I grew up with is a totally different metal. These were poor white kids that were growing up, Generation X, and were growing up in broken homes. Just like a lot of them suffered abuse. Just fucked up street kids, really, but white. So very similar struggle. So now they're not going to be like, let's make fucking soul music, because where the hell would they get that from? They're going to make angry, fast, loud rock. But
isn't that interesting though?
Them and rap, it's coming from the same place, right?
Yeah, it goes back to the perm situation. How the perm is like the one way,
right,
it's straightening the hair, and the other way it's
there
curling
you go.
the hair.
There you go.
It's full circles. I love full circles, but it's amazing how you'll get a group of people who will create a type of music that would be more cathartic in the sense of like, let's express this anger, let's move it, let's push it, let's evoke that out, right? Whereas you have another group of people that would have that same feeling that they may or may not have to some degree, and they still want to create ways of I wouldn't say that they're trying to, because some of the music, especially when you think about like hip hop, rap, I wouldn't say it's all like just motivating music necessarily, but it's always about getting something more, getting more women, getting more money.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. Let's do.
Yeah, go for it.
Let's do 2 songs up against each other.
All right, let's do it.
Prove that point.
Well, I'm spitting off the tongue down here now. I'm not a learned musician, but let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay. Fuck the Police.
Good God, get it back. Yep.
Yeah.
That's one of the best. That's an all-time.
It's one of
they just played. I'm sorry. They just played at the BET Awards, which was dope. Did you? I don't know if you
whoa, that's fucking
that was dope.
That was huge. Yeah. Huge.
So, fuck the police, and then we're not going to take it. Are they not saying break? Are they not saying?
Who was that? Who did that song?
Twisted Sister.
Twisted Sister. Gotcha. Okay.
With our friend D. Snyder, who's a friend of the show.
What up, D? Well, I guess I got to call him D. Snyder. What up, D. Snyder?
D. Snyder.
I think those songs are doing and saying and a similar thing and coming from a similar place, right?
Yeah, well, I'm sure you're gonna get a lot that's gonna be similar. I think even when you take even some of the crazier, wilder, whether it be, I guess I can't say, the other types of metal, I'm sure you're gonna get very similar stories, just because, like you said, they're coming out of similar places, and we're people. The only thing that really separates us a lot is gonna be culture, history, and things of that nature. But people as a person, we all are the same with that. I'm just saying that there is not much. Like, I don't know if the word is atheist, but there's not much the soul in black music, most black music, there is a presence of a soul. So if there's any music that says like I mean, there's other, I don't know, I can't say that because there's you also have what was the joint? Ouija, are you with me? Mo murder.
That was Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Out of Cleveland, baby.
Cleveland, there you go. Bone had some of those, kind of dark, satanic type of things to them. So you get a little bit of that.
DMX did some stuff like that.
Man, DMX out when he's with the blood, was it blood of my blood or flesh of my flesh, whatever it was. That
freaked me out, bro.
We're talking about
it was a banger though.
Anti-authority songs, which crosses all genres of music.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, Rage Against the. Okay, so here, before we continue, let me just go do this real quick. All right, so I went through that list of the 50th greatest protest songs considered to be modern history, right? Number 1, Public Enemy, Fight the Power.
Always.
That shit's been on repeat in my head since.
That was on BET's award.
Oh my God.
Months.
The beat makes you want to smack the shit out of somebody.
Seriously.
Was the hero the most, but he never meant shit.
Don't smack your mama. So the song was recorded for Spike Lee's movie Do the Right Thing. Fucking great movie.
Yes.
Man.
And then of course it eclipsed the movie and became like just an absolute, I mean, worldwide, everybody knows that song.
I know that song as well as I am.
Shout out to Spike Lee. What's up, homie?
One of the lines that I wanted to call out because it speaks to this discussion. Chuck D says, Elvis was a hero to most, but he never meant shit to me.
Straight out racist.
Racist and plain.
Motherfucking man, Wayne. That was classic, dude.
I was a teenager, young teenager, and I'm like, the fuck did he just say about Elvis?
Oh, yeah. And I can imagine.
I was like, what the
fuck?
I can imagine white America freaked out at that anyway. Everybody.
Elvis. He went for
John Wayne?
He went for almost Jesus, almost white fucking Jesus, right? Basically. Yeah. And but I thought about it for a minute, and because I'm me, and I also grew up in a mixed home, I just went, oh, right. Yeah, they would fucking think Elvis was fucking piece of shit. Yeah. It just was like, but I didn't have to be like, wait, what?
Good point, Sailor. And I think that a lot of people, when they hear it, they may be stuck on the fact of what Elvis meant to them, and they kind of leave it at that. But if you take it from a historical perspective and you break down how Elvis, took a lot of the moves. I mean, it's good now. You got a lot of musicians and artists. I think what's my guy's name? Justin Bieber. I think just recently said that he gets a lot of his stuff from Black music and Black people, and he's being very vocal about that. So, but Elvis was not one that did that. I mean, what was he, the king of? Any notice the king of? Is he the king of like?
They just call him the king, right?
The king.
Just the king.
Yeah.
Just the king.
Okay, I was about to say because I thought. Well, no, isn't it? Because who is the? Because they. Never mind.
Michael's the king of pop.
Right.
He was just the king. I mean, it was in lights behind him in Vegas. He was the king. That's
just the king.
Him and Richard Petty, but that's another.
Yeah. Richard Petty.
Okay, so before we go on, so that's 1989. Okay.
Good.
Yeah. I'm gonna skip around because I want to say one for the very last. Nice. Okay, we're gonna go to The Clash, "Rockin' the Casbah," 1982. Okay. Does everybody know that?
Rock the Casbah. Rock the Casbah. Okay. I have no idea what the hell they're talking about. I just know this chorus like a mofo.
So most people didn't, unless you lived in Europe or you were in the UK. So this was their only US top 10 hit, and it tells the tale of censorship in Western music in the Middle East in the 70s and 80s. And it was inspired by the 1979 Islamic Revolution. The song took on a life of its own when the U.S. Armed Forces Radio used it as the first track when they opened coverage of Operation Desert Storm during the Gulf War. I remember this in 1990. The Clash was not pleased at all. A friend told the story that Joe Strummer wept when he heard that the phrase "rock the Casbah" was written on an American bomb that was to be detonated in Iraq during the Gulf War following 9/11.
Wow, that's messed up.
He was. They were beside themselves. So the song, wait for this. The fucked up American government. So they put it on a goddamn bomb, right? They use it as the opening in the 90s to go fucking murder people, but then it gets
for
placed
oil
on the list of post 9/11 inappropriate titles distributed by Clear Channel, so they can fuck right off. So then the song gets banned after 9/11. So many songs got banned.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's messed up.
Yeah, wasn't there? It wasn't on them.
No.
All right. So then there is NWA, shit. Fuck the Police.
Yeah, right.
So I'm going to give you one line. They have the authority to kill a minority. The song in 1988 is talking about racial profiling and police brutality. Some of us are not shocked that this is still going on and it's never stopped.
What year was that?
Not at all.
1988.
88. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember this, but do you remember all this stuff? I mean, I can't remember when Rodney King was. I'm not good with years.
That was 92.
That was around the same time.
I'll get there. I'll get there.
Wait for that. I'm sorry. Well, we'll come back to that. But I was just saying that time period, late 80s, early 90s, was rough.
Yeah, when Colors came out, we had the LA. I mean, we're going to get to that. We're going to focus on that because that's going to be my last one that I do. Okay, so this song in specific, Fuck the Police, provoked the FBI to write to NWA's record company about the lyrics, expressing their disapproval and saying that the song misrepresented police. Fucking wow, who cares? Listen,
that's hilarious.
Okay, so listen to this story. In 1989, Australian radio station Triple J, or as it would be Triple J, had playing Fuck the Police the only radio station in the world to do so without censoring it for up to 6 months before being banned by the Australian Broadcasting Corporation.
Good for you, Triple J.
As a reaction, the staff went on a strike and put NWA's Express Yourself on continuous play for 24 hours, playing it roughly 360 times.
Oh, that's beautiful.
They locked the studio like in 80s movies. It actually happened.
Where was this? Where was this at?
That's Australia. Yeah, they don't give a
Sydney?
fuck.
Was it Sydney? Was it Sydney? Maybe
Sydney?
Melbourne.
I don't know.
Melbourne.
These are terrible accents, by the way. Okay, 1983, Sunday Bloody Sunday. We all know that song. I think most people know what it's about, but if you don't, the British Army opened fire on civil rights protests against the division of Ireland on Sunday, January 30th, 1972, which resulted in 13 deaths. Does that sound familiar? Right now, Bloody Sunday became a notorious incident that increased membership of the, at the time, burgeoning IRA and was one of the key moments in the Troubles, as it's called. Both John Lennon and Paul McCartney wrote songs in the immediate aftermath of the massacre, but it was U2 who wrote the definitive protest song 11 years later. So it was played famously at Live Aid. And he would say, though, it wasn't a rebel song, but a humanitarian plea against the killing that continued through that decade and beyond. I respect that he, that's his explanation.
Yeah.
Another song that I was really surprised to find on this list, and I chose it for a specific reason. Good old Bruce Hornsby. Remember that dude? I knew you were going to say that one.
I knew you were going to say that one because it sounded like such a smooth, laid back song. Like even my granddad loved that song.
Yeah, just the way it is.
The way it is. Yeah.
Oh, that piano was a banger, bro.
Yeah, with his piano.
I know that. Yeah.
Okay.
I love that song.
1986. It's a fucking protest song. So it's totally out of the genre, but I included it because it's a discussion of the civil rights movement and how America might have made progress, but he didn't think it was near enough, and he was right. So here's a sample. As a rich businessman speeds past the queue for the welfare office, he sneers at the unemployed. Bruce gives the shrug that things have always been that way. That's just the way it is, and adds, but don't you believe them? And then he says, well, they passed a law in 1964 to give those who ain't got a little more, but it only goes so far.
Okay.
And that's something.
So you'll listen to it differently now.
The beautiful things of storytelling in music, I swear, man. I mean, you gotta. That's one beautiful thing about lyrics. They actually do tell stories sometimes. I love it.
Definitely.
You got James Brown.
Pay attention.
Say it
Which
loud.
one's this?
I'm black and I'm proud.
Oh, there you go. That's a protest.
I remember
you never thought of
Another Day in Paradise.
Yeah, that's it. Well, that one too. Yeah, that was on there as well, but I didn't choose that one.
You know what's funny?
That was Phil Collins, right? You said? Yeah. Oh yeah, that was my man.
I'm black and I'm proud. That I never thought of that as being protest.
So it is. So
I mean, it is obviously. But
to have the balls to say I'm black and I'm proud in 1968.
You know what's so funny? That's interesting. I mean, like, man, music is a trip because when you're young and like the way I grew up in North Carolina, that was a jam. Say it loud,
right?
You know what I mean? You just like
he made it a jam. He made it a jam.
But I never would have thought protest.
Here's some history with the song that makes it so interesting. So James Brown is called the Godfather of Soul, of course, and there was a time when his influence was so great that when riots broke out in Boston following the assassination of MLK, he calmed the disturbance in the entire fucking city single-handedly. Single-handedly.
It was in his movie. Yeah, it was in his movie. I saw that. Yeah.
Later on that year, he came out with "Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud." That's one of, and the anthem is, and it became the anthem of the Black Power movement. Can I get a little land for me and mine? We're tired of beating our head against the wall and working for someone else. And that's a quote. Chuck D later said, James said, you can say it loud, that being black is a great thing instead of something you have to apologize for.
Nice.
Right. That's how it was so transformational was before you could not say I'm black and I'm proud without feeling like you're about to get get your butt beat, lynched, whatever the fact.
Sure,
but the fact that he put that into a song and now you can say it and repeat it and it was cool. That's what he did. He transformed that to make it so when you heard it, Mac, we could say it and be cool and not have to worry about getting killed or shot or whatever the fact may be. You know? So
yeah, white people can sing it along with you because half the time they don't know what the fuck they're singing.
You know, it's so funny. Yeah, and that's the thing. I was about to kind of say that. Yeah, because you're just like, that's the jam. They're like, oh yeah, I'm black and I'm proud. You're like, yeah, and you're like, you're just rocking with it. Hold on. But it's just jam. Yeah, I get it. Wow.
So another one on the list is Metallica's One. So 1988. Okay. So 1988, this is same time as NWA's Fuck the Police. Okay, same year. So this is happening at the same time. This is one of my least favorite songs of the band, and the video gave me the fucking creeps.
One of my favorites.
There you go.
It's one of its favorites. So it's inspired by Dalton Trumbo's famous anti-war novel, which was written in 1939 about a young soldier in the First World War who was injured, loses his arms, his legs, his eyes, his tongue, half his face, but his mind is still alert. So he's totally trapped in his body. They turned the book into a movie in 1971, right when the Vietnam War made the story much more relevant. And Hetfield was deeply affected by the movie and the novel and became obsessed with it and was freaked out by this possibility that oh my God, right? As it would freak anybody out. So in the music video, they included clips from that movie from 1971. And it's just, oh, fucking hell. Dude, but it's a rebellion against war, you know? Okay, so this human being put his life on the line for you and you promised to protect him if he served. And then what? Then what after? What did he do it for? What was the reason? How is he being cared for now? Why, look at his life now. So it's really interesting if you read the lyrics to the song because he's a very poetic writer. Okay. Then we have, before we get to the last one, Green Day in 2004.
Oh, that's my joint. I'm saying Green Day was my joint.
Nice.
So,
Green Day. I'm sorry, my bad. Go for it.
They're American Idiot. Don't want to be an American idiot. So it was written as a response to President George W. Bush and the war in the Middle East. And later came out of the September 11 attacks. It is a bold-faced fuck you to the
man.
government.
Hello.
I used to look, shout out to Green Day. I used to love how Green Day would rock that, the way that they would hold it. The main dude, I don't know his name. But I used to love it, man. When masturbation lost its fun, you're fucking laying there. I used to love that. I don't know about that. You know about that, Jay? Damn.
I know the band Green Day, but I don't know I wouldn't be able to say one of their songs like that until now.
Done.
Welcome to Paradise.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're considered punk,
okay.
Right? So, but that would be like new punk.
Oh,
that would be
new
like
punk.
that's
okay.
more organized punk.
No way. That's
Radio punk, pop. I called it pop punk.
Pop punk. Okay.
Pop punk. Yeah.
Dang, punk sounds kind of
like
bad.
pop,
I thought it was like something harder than that.
No.
Now, what was punk like the precursor to grunge?
No.
There you go. You're doing something now. I see you doing
Punk was
Try it,
another
bro.
very anti-establishment musical movement right there. You talk about Sex Pistols, Anarchy in the UK. That's kind of where it all started.
Yeah, punk is absolute anti-establishment. Fuck everything.
You think Fuck the Police is
everybody.
anti-establishment? You should listen to some old, like I said, some old Sex Pistols.
Oh God, yeah.
That's a crazy ass name, Sex Pistols.
Sex Pistols.
They too had some great T-shirts. I've seen those T-shirts out there. I was like Sex Pistols. I was like, okay.
I gotta look that up, see what it look like.
Their story is bonkers as well. Fucking bonkers.
Yeah. Johnny Rotten.
Oh my God. Okay,
Pistol.
so the last one on the list.
Yeah.
Rage Against the Machine, Killing in the Name of. In 1992. Yeah. So, do you guys know specifically what the song is about?
I'm gonna guess Rodney King.
Yes.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. So Rodney King was savagely beaten by the LAPD within an inch of his life in March of 1991. The entire fucking incident was caught on camera.
I remember that.
The subsequent acquittal of the officers in question in April of 1992 set off a firestorm.
Everybody lost their fucking mind. Like, how do you get off of that? It's on tape. It's right there.
Well, you know how.
So it was clear that the LAPD was riddled with institutional racism and sparked the worst riots in the U.S. since the 1960s at that time. We just beat them this year. The song was released in November that year and makes the comparison between this type of racism and the cross-burning tactics of the KKK.
Wow. Listen, I'm going to tell you guys,
that's deep.
Listen, Rage Against the Machine was one of the very few bands that I'm telling you, a lot of those lyrics, when they even said, I forget which song it was like, they don't have to burn the books, they just remove them. I mean, like, I was like, wow, that's ill. Like, you know, they said, and I mean, when they broke up, you know what? Let me go back real quick, Sailor. The 1999 Woodstock, when it was on MTV, I was an MTV fan back in the day.
I was there.
You were there?
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Wow, and that was there was a lot of people that played in that entire. I think I had that box set. I had that double disc or whatever of that. I used to listen to that Woodstock 1999. But I'm being honest, when Rage and even if you see it, video, but you were there in real life. But the way that they performed, the way Zach De La Rocha was doing his thing, I mean, it was just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. So I've always been a fan of them. Yeah.
The amazing thing about Rage, I just got to see them several times. There was I don't know if it still goes on, a festival called the Red Earth Festival. I lived in Oklahoma for a minute because my mother moved us around a lot when I was a child, and I would go back and forth between my grandparents.
Oklahoma.
Who were very stable, and my mother who moved around all the fucking time.
Yeah.
And so here I am in Oklahoma, and she puts me on a fucking farm, and I'm a Queens, New York City girl. Like, I'm used to running around New York City or Fort Lauderdale at the time. That's my life. Like, what the fuck do I do here? So let's just say that's when Sailor started.
Cow tipping.
No. We didn't even have cows in Oklahoma. There's no cows.
Damn it.
Oh, no cows? Does Sailor even know what that is?
Of course I know what cow tipping is. I live in Ohio. Hello.
Hey.
Ohio State University. So I got to see them at the Red Earth Festival, which is a huge powwow, basically, that turned kind of commercial and would have, I think they did it to, which I think is smart. I think what they were trying to do was to attract the youth to come. So they would have like concerts. Which was, probably like, okay, you got to watch these things and learn about your culture, and then you can go to your concert thing. I'm assuming. Which I get it. So they played, and I'm talking there was maybe 300 people there, and I'm getting to see Rage Against the Machine play.
Oh my God.
I can tell you when they played there, and then Woodstock is after, because I was 19, I forget what year it was, the control that they had over the crowd. If they said go left, they went. We're talking thousands of people went left.
Yeah, I could believe it.
That's wow.
They stopped, like the control he had. But the minute Bomb Track came on, you could feel it. Yeah, the electricity, we could have powered half a fucking city. It was insane. Yeah. It was just, it was fucking nuts. That was something else. They were.
I mean. Oh, hell. Can't stop us now. I mean, their jokers went hard. Their lyrics were hard, yo. I mean, they had like a beat to it, so the brothers were like, yo, let me go and rock with this. You know what I'm saying? But
you know what? That's a great point, because of the fact when you bring in talking about why, I guess, in general, a lot of black people don't necessarily are not hard rock or heavy metal fans. I think that's part of what it is, because it's so much so much more guitar and like hard guitar and screeching sounds as opposed to a beat. I mean, black folks, I mean, it's in our blood and our DNA from Africa, from drums. You got to have a beat, and if you can't really hear a beat in there, then it's gonna turn you away from the music. But one of the groups that I always like, because I brought up the grunge, was Nirvana. That Teen Spirit, dude, that freaking beat was a banger. And I remember I used to turn that joint on. I'm in college, and I used to turn that joint on, and I would turn on specifically. We have a house party, everybody, we rocking all type of hip hop. That's when, early 90s and stuff like that. Dude, in the middle of the freaking party, I would literally purposefully put on daggone Team Spirit and run around the house and just be kicking stuff, kicking people. Me and my roommate Chad would just wild out and turn that on. They'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with this dude? And I love that song, man. I mean, for real.
Hey, I'm going to challenge you to find this track. Try to find Smells Like Teen Spirit, but Jay Davey did a rendition of that. If you get a chance, look for Jay Davey. Yeah,
wait a minute.
The letter J and write out Davey, Davey. It's the most chill version of that song. Now, first of all, Jay Davey was flyish. They whole aura and band was just mad cool. But if you can find that cover when they did Smells Like Teen Spirit, mad chill, mad ill. Get a chance to listen to that when you get some time, brother. That's one of my. You talking about getting your Mac mode? Come on.
I think you guys need to listen. I think I need to give you guys a playlist.
Oh, Shortest Straw.
We need to give you, because there's this, there's the
if
double
you like
bass
a beat,
drum. And
oh my God.
Don't tell me there's no beat and there's no drum in some of this shit. It's a double bass kick. Hello.
Yeah.
So
Ed, definitely send that to me. Sailor, yes, for sure. Send that to me. I want to hear that.
Because it's just there in a different way. It's just different. Just like reggae is different from hip hop. It's a different way to or blues. It's just a different way to articulate that beat. But rock and metal absolutely has it. Absolutely.
Gotcha. Okay. I guess it's sometimes the guitar is over, it's so loud, and you can't hear the beat in there sometimes. I mean, you definitely know there are drums in there, but I feel you. I definitely feel you. Which would be cool too, because that's a way, which is funny, because my son, Ethan, is 11, and I'm telling you, like, sometimes we think he's reincarnated. He used to be a white man in another life.
Oh, and so there you go.
This boy, for real, this boy loves rock and roll music. And it's like, we'll maybe watching a cartoon or something like that, and they'll play like a rock and roll song, and like he literally get up and be like this. I'm like,
sad banger.
Yeah, it's hilarious, man. It's hilarious.
Music breaks borders. It breaks boundaries. I mean,
absolutely.
There's a lot of times I can listen to because I don't necessarily gravitate towards metal doesn't mean that I don't like any metal or like I could never hear metal. I probably could.
I love music.
I mean, and we're kids, like, I was in the 70s too. I was born in the 70s. So the thing about it is we were raised in a time where we listened to radio, and radio was whatever they played. So at that time, in the very early like 80s, and mid 80s, they played everything. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like MTV. You might still
you're an MTV kid.
But but you're still watching the other joints that they would play, and then you'd watch Yo MTV Raps later. So you got a chance to see and hear a lot. Like, I mean, I started liking what's that? Lightning Strikes. I don't know who sings that. I forget.
Lightning Crashes.
Lightning Crashes. Who's that?
Oh, Lightning Crash.
I know. Dude. Is it REM?
Oh shit.
Is it REM? No, maybe not. I don't know, but it was like. I know. But I'm saying like REM, Everclear, like these are groups that I would not have.
Everclear.
That was one I probably never picked up. Everclear was that was Everlast was the other dude that had
Everlast, like, right. I remember he was a rap
hip-hop beat.
Yeah.
But so many other bands that they played just from MTV and watching the videos, 9 Inch Nails, I would listen to that music because of the videos, because of MTV. So it would introduce me to other stuff. You know what I'm saying? So for that reason, I think I can hear a lot. So if you make a playlist, that'll be dope.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make you guys. I'm gonna make you guys a playlist. You brought up the next discussion I wanted to talk about, which was how music was advertised and promoted. And you're making a point about MTV, and we did an entire episode on MTV, and we actually talked about how long it fucking took to have a black artist on MTV. MTV Raps came way later. Almost 9 years.
Run DMC got on there with Rockbox. That's what cracked it.
Well, actually, here's a cool intersection. So Aerosmith was a very popular band in the late 60s, 70s.
Oh, yeah. Aerosmith.
And then they weren't anymore.
Right.
And
that's true.
Yeah.
The record label went to Run DMC and said, "Hey, I need you guys to
reincarnated,
help them out and like help." And they were like, "Oh, fuck, we want to help out these fucking old white rocker motherfuckers." I'm sure they didn't say like that, but
Rick Rubin.
So well, exactly.
I like Rick Rubin though. Rick Rubin's the man. Well,
he's responsible for some like the shit.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's a bad boy.
Oh, send out.
So they do this video together, Walk This Way, and
yes,
it was such an interesting intersection at that time because at that time, although we all got to hear the same music, I feel like music was quite divided.
Facts. Yeah.
I was running around with my metalhead friends, and we had one black kid in our group. He was punk rock metal kid, skater, totally
skateboard.
Poor guy, probably. Can you imagine the identity crisis he was having?
I'm about to say.
He was going to art school. He was an artist. Like, and but we took him in, of course. And but then when I would go home, my mother's listening to she was just she came from the acid rock days, and she did like Led Zeppelin and shit like that, but she was way more into, I would have to say the majority of her music, because I would play all her albums, was all black artists. She was big into the disco era.
Get down, mama.
A lot of Earth, Wind, and Fire in there, and
tons of soul. She's born 1951, so she grows up in the 60s. She's Motown. I mean, our house was full of Motown records and all of that stuff. And then then that translates into disco. And I remember, I'll never forget, we're in the car and this song comes on. I'm really dating myself here. And it's the song, the freak says she.
Oh yeah,
freak out. Oh, that was shit.
You used to roll skate to that.
That was her favorite song. Yeah, so that's what
she's right. When
I come home, so I've got that, and then my grandparents listened to Greek music. So it was like
wow.
But in my neighborhood, there was everything playing because you had the Greeks over here, you had the Italians over there, the Irish kids were way over there, and then you had the Jewish kids over there, and then if you went to a certain part like Jamaica, Queens, it's all Latin music and like straight up African music, not
Caribbean,
even like
for sure.
African American. So that can change your perspective, but not everyone had that experience, right?
Well, you said it really good right there, Sailor. I mean, that's the whole thing. Like you said, how it was still sectioned off, right? I mean, I think that's why music or MTV didn't play it. I mean, shout out to Nicole, my sister-in-law. She just mentioned how David Bowie, she believed there was an interview about him talking about why they don't play black artists. But I really do believe that's the whole thing because I would say for the radio stations I listened to when I was young, a lot of times blacks and black radio stations played everything. If they did, they'll play black and everything. But I think at one point, a lot of, and this is just my assumption. I'm not I don't study music and I don't know it that way. But I think that a lot more of white America didn't know what to make of black music when it came to that time period. Before, like you said, with disco and all that. Yeah, I mean, this is going back to like the marijuana days and,
Motown. There's a lot of assimilation. It was like the doo-wop shit and all that crap.
Yeah, there you go.
Very white assimilation, Well, it's really. I mean, there's even a movie about it. I forget what the hell it's called. I can't remember her name either. Anyway, doesn't matter. But how it was, they would discover this group, and they were black kids, and then they would say, "Oh yeah, we want to sign you," but it turns out they just wanted the song and the music, and they wanted them
and
to
the moves and all that stuff.
Elvis
have a white kid exactly. Do the whole thing, whitewash it out, and go and make it famous. They do tours and all that type of stuff. I was like, holy shit. They took our whole shit.
And that's why I think music has been even though it's one of the things that a lot of ears, no matter where you come from, can hear it. They remember that whole thing about can you hear it or what is it? What is it? Damn it. hearing versus listening. I think that's what it is, or something. The difference. Yeah. But I think that a lot of people can hear all types of music. I just think that you start putting that social, political, or social, cultural, or whatever, social, economic, more so, meaning behind this, and people start really categorizing the music that you hear. That's when it becomes banned or sectioned away, or this has to go over there and that crate goes over there. It's just not all. It can't be together, and that's unfortunate. But I think that's what leads a lot of different cultures, or let's say, for example, what we're talking about now, blacks not ever getting into those crates of heavy metal, even though they might have connected with it. It wasn't in their area. It wasn't. It did not. And then identification is a huge part of the music, right? It's so funny when people always talk about, and I'm pretty sure we're all around the same age, Hootie and the Blowfish, and everybody thought that the black dude was Hootie. You know what I'm saying? So we did too. We were like,
Darius
Sean did.
Yeah.
I saw that dude. I was like, hey, what's up, Hootie?
What up, Hootie? Piss me off, play that fucking shit. I couldn't stand that fucking band.
But that's the thing. I mean, and that's why a lot of, I think, black people didn't gravitate towards that. You know what I'm saying? They were like, man, this dude. And a lot of what we do, we meaning, of course, Black America, our music and our identity is put into it, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, you showed me that one group, Guar, and I was like, what in the hell?
Right.
What in the haunted house,
man,
Halloween all day is this?
I think I'm gonna die just looking at this shit, right?
Yeah. No, you have got to look up Guar, and you have to wait a minute. I'm gonna tell you the names. Go ahead.
GWAR. If you guys look that up, me and Jay talked about that. We said, man, what? And she was like, you gotta heard. You sure? I'm sure you heard Guar. We were like, hell no.
Most craziest over the top.
I can imagine
in your life.
Okay, so I have to tell you the names.
Shit out of me.
We did a show on Guar, and it was so fucking hard to get through it without dying laughing.
I can imagine.
Actually be articulate, because some of the names of the fucking performers is like. Okay, I think right, Mac, I told you about the nurse had an abortion on stage, or the nun had an abortion on stage, or whatever.
I remember that.
Wait, I'm gonna miss that. What?
Okay.
They were out to do as much shocking,
as
shocking as they could be, just shock value. That's what they're out.
And they were all just performance.
And it was a lot of tongue in cheek, just humor, but it was also shock value. But
so their names are Balzac, the Jaws of Death.
Hello.
Pustulus Maximus.
Wait, what?
Pustulus Maximus.
Oh my god.
Beefcake the Mighty. Joey Sletman. Sylmenstra Hyman. Executioner. That's my favorite. Sexecutioner. That's such a great band too.
I like the Hyman guy.
Volvatron.
Oh my god.
Volvatron's a good one too. Cornelius Carnage. Flatus Maximus. There's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys that played Flatus Maximus. Who else? Hans Sphincter.
Okay.
Nicholas Erectus.
Oh my god. I mean, how old were these people? Man, this is like,
serious. They started out in '88, and they're still
it's like middle school at its best. Right now, I'm gonna be nipple pickle pepper. I mean, okay, this rock.
Sure, let's do it.
Wow.
Yeah, those are
that's crazy.
But the shows are just. We made Ed watch it and remember.
It's kind of like a Rocky Horror Picture Show, but like some different stuff, right?
Oh, it's way beyond.
You put anybody black to perform in mask. Trust me, it's not happening. I mean, it won't happen. Right now, we lucky if we put on a regular mask in 2020.
Right.
Back then, you put on a mask. Well, I'll admit, you got people like what's my man, Tyler the Creator. They might do something as wild as that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who was it that had like the Hannibal Lecter mask? Who did that for a video?
I know Twister, I think did. Was Twister?
No. Was that Method Man? Did Method Man do something like that? Either him or Redman. Did they do something like that?
Redman probably would have. That sounds like a
Wu-Tang Clan. One of them probably did some craziness too with a mask.
Amen.
Yeah.
I was going to talk about Wu-Tang Clan next.
Wu-Tang.
Oh, I'm a Wu-Tang fan.
So the interesting thing to me is when hip hop kind of came to rise, right? When it came to be. And then someone, as I was researching, wrote an article basically saying, if you think that everyone listening to hip hop and rap is black, you've lost your fucking mind. Because it is literally the best-selling music genre in the United States for a very long time.
All day.
So yeah, I thought that was incredibly interesting. But how we were introduced to hip hop is interesting, as I would say, like the white people.
Yeah,
it's a very gentle ascension, I think, into hip hop. Yeah, you had Rum DMC; they wouldn't curse, you know. It was like all kinds of shit like that in the beginning, right? And then, meanwhile, because I'm me, come across fucking Eazy-E and Too Short, and I'm like, yo, whoa, what?
Too Short, Lord have mercy.
I love Too Short. But that's the music that I think, this is what's interesting. When they started saying the terms gangster rap and all that, I found more white people involved in hip hop than ever. Yeah. It's like when hip hop became angry or it became not vile, but when it became like
some stuff that your parents would shit a brick over, that's when I like it.
That's what's like, oh yeah, let's get more of that. Versus, LL, backseat of the Jeep. That's what you don't want to hear that.
You know, reminds me of the scene in Office Space. You ever seen Office Space where that white guy's going to blasting his gangster rap and and he sees like a car of black people pull up next to him and he's
he turns it down. I remember that. Yeah.
Classic scene. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
Good point, Myron. My homeboy Myron, here he goes again. MF Doom did wear a mask. He's right. MF Doom did wear a mask. That is one of the very
Thank
few.
you, Myron.
Myron's my guy. Yeah, he plugged it in there. Good call.
Thank you very much. I knew it was somebody.
When hip hop got more like, go for it.
You're right. It was LL Cool J. It was what's his fucking head, Mr. Entanglement, with his summertime.
Will.
Will Smith.
Will will bring you in.
Back when he was a Fresh Prince.
Very
jiggy with it.
I feel like it was very assimilated. It was very I don't want to use all the trope words, but we'll just use the trope words like clean, respectable, nice, kind,
radio friendly.
Radio friendly.
You know the number one hip hop song that white America loves? Baby Got Back.
That's played at every single wedding.
I love that track.
At a wedding, like get the fuck out of here!
Right,
you are fired.
You know, it's time to get up dance floor.
He's probably like, man, I made that song.
I just remember.
Now when you look at his bank account.
I remember walking into a party, and I must have been. Was I in high school yet? I don't know. And this is my sound memory. We were in the car. We were smoking some pot.
There you go.
Clamping.
All right.
And you know how when you go from that environment to like where there's people, you kind of, you're like, okay, I gotta get my shit together. And I just remember I walked in, and it was like the party had just getting started. So it was kind of quiet, but a bunch of people were. This is my sound memory. I knew this girl. Her name was Yolanda. Roll.
Oh God!
Wow.
Oh man.
You know how the rest of it goes? Rose baby doll like a brand new Honda. And
that's right.
Like, this is awesome.
That was the joint. Yeah, that was the joint for you right there. Yeah, turn this up. Let's go.
Totally not thinking about what he was saying, but whatever. It didn't matter. I was a kid. And it was all the white football players.
Oh wow. Okay.
Wow. Yeah, but I mean, I get it. I get that because I think at that time, you're right. That first of all, that music was played a lot. But I'm saying, so once the music, I think, and at that time it was like you said, that's the introduction. But I think when hip hop got to be like money making is when it got to be like, the NWA and the Snoop Dogg Gin and Juice, and really when the West Coast got involved, MC8, like you said.
When Dre dropped that Chronic, dude, that was a game changer.
Come on,
that was a game changer for real.
That's about the time that MTV flipped. They were mostly white acts to mostly black acts on MTV.
Yes,
they flipped the script.
That's when it became so much more popular.
Everybody was singing freaking was singing Chronic, man. Everybody.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that was just bananas, man. So yeah, that was a game changer.
Remember the whole weird intersection with what they call DMZ? Slam.
Oh, Onyx.
Yeah. That weird shit happened where I was like, I don't know if these people are white or black who's singing that. I can't tell what the, because you had House of Pain and Onyx, and it was like the same people. It sounded like.
Yeah,
that was wild. Slam was good though. Slam was good. I like that joint. That let you release your stuff, and you know.
Yeah, I'm a big boy standing in my big boy pants.
Yeah. throwing bowls in the club before Ludacris came out with that one. Man, I mean, you were wild out on Slam. Yeah, that made you feel like you were a hard rock type of white kid, wilding out for being black. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that was that cross with like the we talked about. I told the story once on the podcast, I think, about House of Pain, and so I was at Ohio State, and there was the bars that they were all on one street called High Street, and shithole guy that owned like literally the whole half the campus, and these buildings were just in bad shape, and there was this one club that was upstairs. You would dance. I think the DJ and like the dance floor was upstairs and the bar was downstairs, and it was just the douche bag, fucking jock douche central bar. And my girlfriend had tried to convince me to go this one night, and I didn't want to go, but she liked some guy, and I'm like, I don't want to do Jello shots with all these fucking piece of shit white kids. Shots. So and drink out of buckets, like literally they would serve your beer in buckets. Nice. And so this one, I ended up getting into a fight with this one guy and punched him in the face, and I got kicked out. And
wow, good job, Sailor.
See that experience right there. I could never have that experience.
Well, this is true.
Yeah,
drinking beer out of a bucket
of beer, get in a fight.
And then I threw a beer at him. I got kicked out. Anyway, the next day. They would always like at the middle of, they would play the song twice, House of Pains, jump up and get down, right? Whatever the fuck it's called. So they would play it, at some point regular, and then they would have this like middle of the night thing and get everybody like hyped for it. Are you ready? Ready? And all the douchebags would run upstairs, and so they're all jumping, right? And the fucking floor caves in.
Oh no!
Oh snap!
Yeah, you should have known that was gonna go down.
Whoa.
And I mean, I'm sorry, but like this was like Date Rape Central, like all of that shit. Whoa. And I just remember being like, "That's what happens when you listen to white fucking hip hop."
Oh my god! Oh,
the whole damn roof or the floor caves in. It's a wrap.
Oh my god! Damn. Anybody get hurt?
Probably.
I would assume so.
But again, it's so funny.
Nobody died.
Yeah. Nobody died. Okay, good. All right, good.
But a lot of people were hurt though.
Yeah. But again, it's so crazy. Like
somebody had to pay up.
You have that story, that experience. I think the story experience. The brothers would probably come out and say is, "Man, I was at this cookout one time. Like it's a spot where you can't be in public, but you are in public. You can't really be." Out wilding out like that. That is so crazy, man.
Wait a minute. That's not true because I used to go to all the, what did we call them back then? We probably just called them the black bars in the night, like late 80s, early 90s.
They'd be all right with that.
The black spots.
There were some, and it was all, I would be like, of course, there would be like a handful of white girls in there, no white guys.
But it's all good until they leave.
Right.
Where you going?
That's true.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good while you're in there.
Right.
Come out, though.
Good point.
Hey, ready.
So we should probably wrap it up now. We've gone over our allotted time a little bit. This was super fun, you guys. Thanks for coming on.
I'd
love to have you back for part 2 so we can kind of dig into I want to give you guys the playlist.
Yes.
And I'm going to give you, and I'll also send you a little like a little seasoning of what some of the genres are of metal because it just got real weird after I left the metal scene.
I feel you. I feel kind of the same way about hip hop. Like, hip hop is. I'm kind of like you. Like this stuff out nowadays.
Why is everything that auto tune weird shit now? Like, why is it all this? They don't even sing anymore. They say like 5 things over and over and over.
I have no idea. I don't get it. I mean, I'm happy that they're doing what they're doing, but it's not for me. Like I try and pay attention to it because I'm such a hip hop person. But I mean, ultimately, I'm gonna go back and start listening to somebody like the Roots or Most Def, Common, or I'll go back to Big Daddy Kane, Rakim. Cool J. I gotta have that type of stuff. I mean, sometimes it's like, what the hell?
I was supposed to marry him, but it didn't happen.
It's all good. But it's all good. Ladies love Cool James.
Yeah, they do.
Oh shit! All right, so
let's show.
Until next time. Since Matt isn't with us, Ed, do you want to take us out?
Sure, I'll be glad to. So thanks for sticking around, listeners. We hope you enjoyed the discussion as much as we did. Mm-hmm. And as always, you can find us on Instagram and Twitter as Metal Rock and Whiskey. And we also have an awesome Facebook group. Notice I didn't say...
Yes.
I know. Under Spirit of Rock Podcast Network.
Subscribe, damn it.
And you can also follow us individually. And Sailor, where can they find you?
So you can find me as Sailor Retro all over the internet. On Instagram, I talk about cocktails mostly. On Twitter, let's get fucking political and troll some white supremacist motherfuckers.
Bingo.
Yeah.
There you go, Sailor.
I'm Sailor Guevara on Facebook, the Facha Book, and then on YouTube you can find Metal Rock and Whiskey as Metal Rock Whiskey. Now that you're watching us live, boom.
I love
Tricky.
How about you guys? Yeah. Okay, Jay.
Well, you see my handle, Jay. This way.
But the listeners can't see it.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I'm at JMad on the Rocks. Duh. I'm looking at the StreamYard like, hey, they can see my name right there. Sorry. It's JMad on the Rocks. JMAD on the Rocks. All together. Check me out. I'm just, your regular old fun-loving black guy hanging out.
Then they're going to get on your Instagram and be like, what the fuck?
What is this bullshit? Yeah. I talk about whiskey, family, and having a good time. I'm a silly dude. Love to have fun, and I love music. Especially hip hop, but I'm about to get into some hard rock now, dadgummit. Let's rock.
Not some guar.
For sure. Where's the nun?
Awesome.
So this is Mac. You can find me at I'm not really much on social media right now, but if you want to go to IG, the Whiskey Mac or Mac is Legend. Those are my two. Also on YouTube, you can go to Let's Get Made TV. I don't even know when I'm going to post something next, but I should do it soon. I don't even know why I abandoned my people, man. I should get back. But having a newborn is
I was about to say, yeah, you got babies in the house. Yeah, you're kind of busy. Kind of busy.
I can hear him up there crying now.
Oh, no.
Dun, 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 dun.
All right. And if you want to find me, just look for Bourbon Geek on Instagram, and you'll probably see some of my stuff there. And hey, listeners, if you love us, or even if you just like us, please hit that subscribe button, give us a follow, and a review.
Yes.
Subscribe, damn it.
It really does
now.
Tune in at some point for another episode at some point of Metal Rock and Whiskey. And I was going to reveal my new closing, but I can't do it without Matt. So we're going to have to wait till the next show to reveal my new closing. Normally, I have historically ended almost every single podcast. We've done over 100 episodes.
No shit.
I would end it. The last thing we would say is, fuck you, Lars. But
nice.
I've decided I'm going to change it.
Who's Lars?
Trust me, you don't want to know.
There's many reasons. Lars is from Metallica. He's the drummer of Metallica.
The drummer from Metallica.
It's a long story. So Lars is responsible for this delicious whiskey that is now an integral part of my anniversary every year. And there's something else that breaks my heart more now. So stay tuned for next week when you hear me change my closing tag. So I will leave it at nothing until next week. And I will make the reveal.
Damn it.
Dun,
All
dun,
right.
dun.
So Lars, you don't get an FU today, bro. Good for you, man.
We could say Fukachu Lars.
Fukachu Lars.
That's another inside joke.
Fukachu.
By the way, Ed, before we leave, just so we make sure we get this in the podcast, because of course everybody wants to know about this.
Yes.
I got an email from the Dollar Shave Club because I'm a member. Okay. And when I read it, I thought it was from Shake. From Jake. I am. What?
Oh, you shave your legs, right? Okay.
My legs and my underarms.
Got it. Okay.
Whatever she likes to shave.
Cool.
That too. The email says ball spray. And I was like, is this from Jake? And I'm like, oh wait, his was ball cream. Got it. So listeners, go back and find the episode, our 100th, right? It's our 100th episode.
100th anniversary episode. Yep.
And our friend Torben joined us to talk about his ball cream.
Oh. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
If you know,
all right.
You know, and if you don't, too bad.
Ball cream.
And on that note, bye-bye.
Later, everyone.
Be good. Be safe.